Hello, podcast. Hello, Facebook, Facebook, YouTube. We are live here on all links. Hello, everybody, on this February the 3rd day, 2022. Going to get into a little bit of Jimbo Fisher had an issue with others complaining about the NIL deal. They end up getting the number one class. Talk about that a little bit later. Jim Harbaugh, they recruited well. And I think he got wise to Minnesota. We'll talk about this BrainFlores fallout. There's a lot going on with that. I will go through that, my news and notes. But first, guys, I don't like to come on here and complain a lot. But again, my day job is turned into a nightmare lately. I'm a carrier driver, medical carrier. We've had some of the worst weather. This has been one of the worst winters. This is the worst winter since I've started this job, folks. And I'll say this about people driving. On a personal note, I showed a picture of the truck that crashed in front of me on Interstate 65 out of Nashville, Brentwood, Tennessee, north, just before the Old Hickory Boulevard exit, about a mile and a half going northbound. Anybody that, and I'll get to the show in just a second, but it should be against the law to speed in downpour rains. It should be so much against the law that if you are caught speeding on the interstate in downpour rains, that should be the same as a DUI, in my opinion. Because the people that do that, they think they're smart. They think other people's overly cautious and stupid. And really, they're the ones who's stupid. There's a lot of people in society, not just in this country, who do not need a driver's license. They think they're smart. And they just don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they took the proper class. They don't care. They think their car is better than what it is. Today, I'm driving, like I said, my day job, and I'm going along about 45, 50 in a 70 because it's pouring down rain, right? And this guy in front of me spins out he's about 50 feet in front of me. I could see him starting to lose control because he's speeding. He's an idiot. Maybe in a sheet. I don't know. So this person's spinning out, and this semi truck is trying to miss this person on the interstate. Very busy interstate. But it was 2 o'clock, 2:15, not as busy traffic-wise as a 5 o'clock traffic. So the semi hits this car that he's trying to miss, knocks the car out to the right lane. I'm in the center lane. The semi, after that, loses its trailer and goes out of control and hits the wall in front of me, and I stop about 5 feet from all this. There's plastic everywhere. I thought the person was dead. There's fiberglass all over the place. The trailer of this semi on 65 goes so far off the interstate into a grassy median on top of a train track. That's how bad a wreck this was. And once I got doing my drops, my medical drops, I'm picking up medical specimens. I actually called the Tennessee Department of Safety to see if the person had died, and the person, the lady, she said that no. This person didn't die. The state trooper would have called that in. So they ended up closing down the interstate for a little while, but not as long as I thought. All because people do not slow down in the rain. They're stupid. They think they're smart. Again, I think it should be against the law to do so. I think it should be reckless driving. It's so bad, Pickles. I tell you, it's 65. Just now saw your comments. It's one of the worst accidents. Actually, called my mom after this. I said, pray for me to get out of this job. I can't stand this, But anyways, so you have a short show tonight. And I'll tell you what, guys, if this continues, we've had such a really bad winter here in Nashville. This is the worst winter since I've taken this job. It'll be 7 years in March. I may just go back to doing the show on Sunday nights, and if that hurts my Roku TV deal, that just hurts it. I can't. It's taking there's too much going on during the J job. Okay, BrainFlores. BrainFlores is and the truck driver didn't cause it. It was the person in the car going too fast. Pickles. They had no business going that fast in that kind of rain. It was downpour rain, standing water. The truck driver did everything they can to dodge this idiot, but the person kept spinning because they had no business going that fast. They're trying to get over the hydroplane. They spun. Truck hits that person, and the truck jackknife, I guess that's the term, loses the trailer, and the truck runs into a wall. And I'll stop about 5 feet from the truck. I'm seeing it. Luckily, the other truck driver behind me looks in. The truck driver seemed to be fine because they have the signal. And the guy said, I gave the signal. Are you calling the ambulance? He said, yeah, I'm doing it. So I got out of there. Yeah. Anyways, I'll say this about BrainFlores. Switching gears, getting to the program. About a 6-minute rant there. But, I just have to let you guys engage in what's going on. That's why I'm in some of the moods that I get in. Didn't get into all the information that I wanted to get into, but I'll tell you enough. I've seen enough. I've read enough. I've heard enough. I've heard the responses to BrainFlores. And I'll say this. If I'm BrainFlores, I contact Bill Belichick, John Elway, Dolphins organization, and tell them I apologize. I'm dropping this lawsuit. I got frustrated. I lost my cool. I apologize for anybody's reputation or whatnot that I've hurt. He's really, really built. Somebody's given him some horrible advice, And so you ask why is this guy frustrated? Okay. We have a guy going to the Super Bowl, and as a head coach, he's 36 years old. He is going to his second Super Bowl. His former backup, his former assistant in the Super Bowl, his former assistant, quarterback coach Zach Taylor's in the Super Bowl. Okay, Sean McVay is. This is why guys like him get the job and guys like Flores get irritated, okay? His grandfather coached for the New York Giants in the 70s. He was a general manager. Mr. McVay was a general manager for the 49ers in the 80s when they're rumbling and rolling. Winning Super Bowls with Montana Pickles, And his dad was a college player for Indiana. And then he was a player as well. So he didn't even try to go to the NFL. He went directly to coaching. He had a fast track. He knew exactly who to talk to, where to go, what to do. The league is going more offensive. He has an offensive background. And the guy is a head coach at 30, 32 years old, something like that, like John Madden. This is his second Super Bowl, okay? And you got his assistants going there. Zach Taylor, Brandon Staley, Matt LaFleur from the Green Bay Packers, Brandon Staley from the LA Chargers. Now Kevin O'Connell from that's possibly going to be O'Connell, I want to say Minnesota, because Harbaugh backed out of that. Raheem Morris is also a black guy, by the way. And he's up to be a candidate for the Saints, Miami, Houston, Jacksonville, which is still open. And my point is, and Marcellus Wiley points this out, is a lot of the black coaches are still players. They get started at an older age. guys like McVay, nepotism is a problem. Yes, I've said that on this program. That's you have a connection already. You get started at a young age. You go right to the top, and you got other people that've been, floating around the league for years, and they're irritated, But I had some more notes and accidentally erased them. But I could go off memory with a lot of this. There's a book by, I think it's not Napoleon Hill, but it's called Outliers. You can look it up. Malcolm Gladwell, excuse me. And it talks about the 10,000 hour rule. It does a study of the Beatles. The Beatles put 8 hours they rehearsed at one time for 8 hours straight and did shows for 8 hours straight when they were coming up. Nobody in the 50s or the late 50s, nobody ever heard of that kind of training. It was intense. It was over the top, very intense training, And this type of training is what a lot of these coaches already have. Your Sean McVays of the world. And if you see this from the outside, it looks like the league is being prejudiced and all that. No, the guy's just good because he's got training at a young age. You see what I'm saying? And so that is a big part of it. It's the nepotism. It's because, the guy can't help it. Like me, I can't help it. I was born in the ghetto, but I did move around a lot, lived in I can't help that. I'm a first generation. I can't help that. But this guy can't help he was born on third base either. You see what I'm saying? And so, and going back to, so that's McVay. That's a lot of the coaches that are getting the jobs in the NFL. Okay. And I noticed that when I was watching the Today Show, Good Morning America, what's her name? Gail King. Pickles, she brings on BrainFlores, and she talks about all this stuff, and with Flores, with the fact that there's only one black head coach in the NFL, and that's it. She failed to mention that there is also a black NFL general manager for the Cleveland Browns, that the coach was fired by the general manager because he couldn't get along. BrainFlores, who's black, by the way, the general manager, Chris Greer of the Miami Dolphins. She failed to mention that. Okay. Ryan Poles, she failed to mention the 36-year-old, because he got started young, the 36-year-old black guy, assistant for Kansas City, gets the general manager job with the Bears at 36, not to mention the 41-year-old general manager, new hire, black guy, I can't remember his name. It's like an OCO Minor. It's a very long name. He's a Princeton guy. So the league is getting smarter. They're getting younger. There's a lot of Ivy League people in here. And so everything is racist crowd. It gets harder and harder and harder for them to come up with new material. And Jason Whitlock, he has been covering the NFL and professional sports for 32 years. Black guy, worked for ESPN and Fox. And he's got a show called Fearless. And yesterday, he talks about the other coaches for the Dolphins that were fired under Stephen Ross, and they all were there about 2 to 3 years. Soprano, all those guys. And I'm not taking up for Stephen Ross. Stephen Ross runs. It's a train wreck down there half the time for the past 10, 12 years. We had the Bullygate situation, Pickles. Remember that? You had a coach sniffing cocaine on camera down there in Miami. I mean, you've had just one fallout after another. a slew of coaches, 2-3 years here and there, and he talks about them. And I wanted to bring that soundbite, but almost got hit in a really bad car wreck today, so I couldn't get that. So, anyways, and this is Jason Whitlock at Jason Whitlock he's verified on Twitter, and Whitlock says that, and this is his words, not mine. He says the black guy, these guys on ESPN. For instance, I've got a few screenshots here. People like this. What is this guy's name? Mark Jones, ESPN. Refuses to get a police escort in 2020 because of the police brutality thing to games. He's a broadcaster for ESPN for 30 years, okay? This guy's a broadcaster for 30 freaking years. And then he refuses to get, that's grandstanding, right? And then you got guys crying like Shannon Sharp on TV about the emails by John Gruden and whatnot. He's going over the top. You got Jalen Rose doing the same thing. And this is Jason, black guy, 32 years he's covered the league. He says those guys are all married to white women. And in the community, the black community, Whitlock's words, as he states that they're like the person, Stephen, who wears all the "What Would Jesus Do" stuff on their arm. They got all the verses. And I'm a person, go to church. I go every week. If I don't go, I watch it at home. I do the tithe and do all that stuff. But I'm always leery of the person that's overboard with that sort of thing because they're overcompensating for something. A lot of those people are usually cheating on their wife with prostitutes. They may be a pedophile or something, right? But what Jason is saying is these guys get so much flack in the black community because they're with a white woman that they overcome. They're the biggest race, everything is racist crowd out there. And he uses examples I just mentioned, including guys like this Mark Jones guy. You know, because BrainFlores is married to a white lady, and his words, not mine, is a big part of why he's doing what he's doing. Then I find out today he brings on a reporter that says Flores could not get along with anybody, including his own players, his own coaches. This reporter describes that Flores, and not only did he have a black general manager, but he had the most black assistants, and he still couldn't get along with everybody. And I'm beginning to believe, from what I hear from this reporter on again, I wish I had some more sound bites here, but basically, this guy is really hard to he's probably just a coordinator type, even though they had a pretty good record. You know, this reporter talks about other records, like Tony Serrano, sound like some Tony Soprano. You know, and again, I'm not a big Stephen Ross guy. I think he's more into marketing. He's bringing these celebrities. He's kind of like Jerry Jones, except he didn't ever have a Jimmy Johnson at the beginning. He's more into that than he is into winning, I think. Miami is a mess. But let me show you what kind of fallout this happened here. You know? This is from John Elway. Remember what he said about John Elway, Flores, in 2019? That Elway was hungover for the interview. He actually said that. And it was a sham interview because he's black. It was a Rooney Rule thing. And that's what Marcellus Wallace, just do away with it. Don't waste people's time with that. You know? We're past all that. I just named you 4 general managers. Those are the guys that do the hiring, and they are black. So your everything is racist crowd. They've got less and less to work with. Not to say that there may be some issues in the NFL. These are older owners, different generations. But what was this guy's name? Sutherland Pickles, the racist owner from the Clippers. We know he was a racist. We heard the videos. Doc Rivers was his coach. You know? So that's just is what it is. So this is what John Elway says. John Elway puts a statement out. While I was not planning to respond publicly to the false and defamatory claims by BrainFlores, I could not be silent anymore with my character, integrity, and professionalism being attacked. I took Coach Flores very seriously as a candidate for our head coaching position in 2019 and enjoyed a 3.5-hour interview. Nobody does a 3.5-hour interview hungover. I'll tell you, you have to be pretty tough. Interview with him, along with the rest of our group. I was prepared, ready, and fully engaged during the entire interview as Brian shared his experience and vision for our team. It's unfortunate and shocking to learn for my first time this week that Brian felt differently about our interview from 2019. I added that year part in there. Quote, for Brian to make an assumption, what's that word assume again, right? When you break down assume, I heard a coach say this on the Bad News Bears one time, the original Pickles in the 70s. You got the word ASSUME. Don't assume, because you're going to make a ASSUME out of both of us. Okay? So for Brian, going back to John Elway, for Brian to make an assumption about my appearance and state of mind early that morning was subjective, hurtful, and plain wrong. If I appeared disheveled, is what he says, as he claimed, it was because I had flown there in the middle of the night, immediately followed another interview in Denver, and was going on a few hours sleep to meet with him in a window that we provided. It was across the country. It was on the East Coast. Okay? And I've flown from Denver to Dallas. Your head feels like it's going to explode because you are, it's the elevation thing. So basically like a red eye there. This guy flies all the way across the country. You feel like you're hungover coming off that altitude, you know. But he didn't say nothing about that until now. That's what really kills me about this guy. And I'm glad Elway said what he said. You know? To give both sides, Tony Dungy did say, and I respect Dungy's opinion because I don't think he has an agenda. You know? Something has to change. Tony Dungy says NFL discrimination lawsuit could be the tip of the iceberg. I'll say this. Dungy is probably saying that we probably really don't need the Rooney Rule anymore. Because, okay, if you own the team and you have a Sean McVay type of guy who's, and life ain't fair, guys. People are born on third base. You know, I've talked about this with friends from college and friends from work over the years. I don't like networking, but you have to know people that feel comfortable with hiring you and doing business with you. That's part of it, okay? That's the Sean McVay thing. The guy's a good coach. He got started. He got the 10,000 hours. And he's networked enough through family, whether it's right or wrong. That's in any endeavor in business that you go to, you know? But that's part of it. So anyways, lost my track of thought. But So Dungy is saying, just take it away. Don't waste people's time. Don't waste people's time with the Rooney Rule. Now, I personally don't want you asking me to fly across the country to meet you, go to dinner with you, and waste a whole day of my time when my time is money, just like yours is, just to check a box. The same people that they're all in New York. I used to live in New York. All these places, CBS this morning, Get Up, and ABC, they're all in one little circle. They all go to the same country clubs, Pickles. There's a term for it, and I'm not going to use it because I'm nice and I'm not going to go political. But it's something to do with the limousine. I'll keep it that way. These people all have their little cocktails together, and they love our media, our national media. They love to play up that race card. They love to play up that social justice thing. You know, because it gets ratings. It's insightful. You know, but that type of rule has really hurt people's feelings. Like Eric Bieniemy going to all these interviews and not getting a job. BrainFlores finding out that he didn't get the job through Bill Belichick in a missed text. Okay? It was a miscommunication. And people like Colin Cowherd, he didn't say it Monday. What's today? Thursday? He didn't say it on Tuesday or Wednesday, I guess. No, Tuesday. This came out. Wednesday's program. Today's Thursday. I didn't list them today. Wednesday, he didn't say it, but he insinuated that the Giants' ownership's racist and that they're a mess and blah, blah, blah. He didn't say it because I guess he'd figure out he might get sued. And I thought, how much homework with all your producers that you do, Colin? Jerry Reese was black. That was their general manager a few general managers ago. He's the guy who brings in the coaches. There's more general managers now than there's ever been that are black. And young. Ron Poles is 36. You know, it's really hard for your everything is racist crowd to win arguments. You know, and again, and a lot of these grandstanders, Randy Moss, even going back to Jason Whitlock, he even mentioned Randy Moss. Randy Moss is crying on TV about the John Gruden emails. And Whitlock calls him out for it. You know? Because he says, yeah, because he's seeing a white lady. He's married to a white woman. He said, they don't want me to hear that. White people ain't supposed to know. That's what this Whitlock says. You know? I'm going to play you, and the people that hear what I'm saying, and I'm going to play you guys a little something. I tell the truth on this program, and sometimes I just think that people can't handle the truth. Hold on, folks. Let me change out. I'm going to play out soundbite. Hold on real quick. Gotta change out my all right.
Have to be transferred. Colonel, Lieutenant Kendrick ordered the code red, didn't he? Because that's what you told Lieutenant Kendrick to do.
I'm listening. This is 1992, A Few Good Men. Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, famous argument in the courtroom. I want you guys to hear that.
Your Honor, you doctored the logbook.
Damn it, Captain!
Unorthodox.
Consider yourself in contempt.
Colonel Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The people that your race, everything is racist crowd, can't handle the truth. And the truth is, you have a leg to stand on. They just don't have, and that's what going about with the Jason Whitlock comments. That's the truth of why a lot of people, he calls people like your Colin Kaepernick's Afro-Americans. He has identity issues, and they can't handle Gayle King can't handle the truth. These people cannot handle the truth about this. I want to play it one more time. That's good stuff, you guys.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth. People can't. They can't. That would have been a lot more animated if I didn't have almost a near-death experience today. Other news. Texas A&M, National Signing Day was Wednesday. And Texas A&M gets the number 1 class. And the other coaches around the league can't handle the truth that they're going to end up winning a national championship. Very heated exchange there. That what a heated exchange. A little hot under the collar. Jimbo Fisher was asked about it, and he denies that it's over the top NIL. He says we've disclosed everything. We don't have millions of dollars, and I don't know whether he does or not. I just know they have a large endowment, and he's going to do whatever it takes within the legal means to get the players in. A&M is going to be they're going to win a national championship. I don't know if it's going to be 2 years or 3 years. I thought they had a shot. They beat Alabama last year. I called that. Their quarterback got hurt last year, or they would have been in the SEC championship game. I would have called that. 3 years ago, told you guys I thought Georgia was getting closer. They started losing games they should have won. I gave up on them last year. They end up doing it. But next one is going to be an A&M. They're going to win a national championship. They've got the coaching. He's already won a national championship with Florida State. Lane Kiffin's coming at him. Kiffin's just mad because he can't recruit like that. He don't have the backing that Fisher's got. He's another guy. He's a nepotism guy, Kiffin. Even Saban's a little ticked off about it. The vice president of Notre Dame has came at Jimbo Fisher, and he tells them all where to go. Just get used to it. And hey, all is fair in love in college football recruiting. If you ask me, I'm totally okay with it. NIL's legal. That's basically playing players. I don't care how you do it. It's same. The transfer portal. It is what it is. In case you guys are wondering, the top 5 was A&M, Alabama, and Georgia's the top 3. Ohio State is number 4, and I don't think I held the number 5. But that brings me to the number 8 class. Was number 5 was Texas. There you go. What did I say at the beginning? Texas and Texas A&M have the largest endowment, most money. They're probably going to do the best on NIL because it means more. They've got the deeper pockets, and they love football down there. But Alabama fans, Alabama Nation, won't let that go on too long. They will do whatever it takes to get up there if NIL becomes it. That's what those people do, But so Michigan's number 9, and Jim Harbaugh That's good. That's up like 7 spots. They were like 17th last year. Had a really good season. Harbaugh loses his defensive coordinator, goes plays for his brother John in Baltimore. But he probably got wise. He looked at Kirk Cousins. He looked at that Vikings roster, and he changed his mind. I don't blame him. It's just not a good gig right now. So he's going to come back to Michigan this year. He's going to be competitive. Although Ohio State, like I said, they've got the number 4 class. They still got a better class, but Michigan is inching closer to them. But none of these teams are going to touch these SEC teams. I'm sorry. It's a regional sport. It means more down here. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but that's just the way it is. They recruit better. These battles, Pickles, are done mainly in February. It's not in September. It's in February. It's depth, you know? Yeah, he flip-flop man, New Yorker, because Carlos, he listened to SportsSkope. He got wise. He don't want to take that Minnesota job. Who wants to live up there? You know, Kirk Cousins. What are you going to do with Kirk Cousins? That's frustrating, you know? And the guy that's a general manager, who's also black, used to work under Harbaugh, with the 49ers. Now he's the guy. He's the general manager. He wanted Harbaugh. But Harbaugh looked at that roster and he didn't want to do it. I don't blame him. I'm glad he didn't do it. I'm glad he's staying at Michigan. You know, I really am. I'm glad he's staying at Michigan. And Pickle says, yeah, it's like Puerto Rico for baseball. It's just huge down here in the southern part of the country. You know, Alabama, Texas A&M, Georgia, those 3 teams, LSU. I mean, you want to see those teams play as much as possible. You know, that's NFL on Saturday. That is the NFL on Saturday, you know. But if you guys missed the show earlier, listen to my near really bad car wreck story that it kept it from me. It didn't hit me. Check that out. A little crazy. I wouldn't say life flashed before my eyes, but I just called my mom. I said, please, just pray that I get out of this job, you know. Pray that we can get a sports job. We're going to be, we could do SportsSkope more. And all that driving in the rain, sleet, and snow, and working 12, 15 hours a day, 12, 13 hours. Leave that to somebody else, you know. Again, if you guys like the show, share the show. If you want to contribute to the program, go to the ZELE app. Zelle app, and it's sportsscope@gmail.com. I'll be on Tuesday. We'll have a little bit more going on. And Man New Yorker says, I like to see Tennessee play better on Saturday. Well, they didn't go after Hugh Freeze. You know, they lost me when they went out and hired a guy that lost 3 games with UCF talent. They lost me there. And everybody else is getting on this guy. I'm like, no. You didn't go after Hugh Freeze. You didn't go after the other guy that's from the Knoxville. I can't remember his name. That coach there. They're not serious about winning. They're not as serious as Alabama, as Texas A&M. They're not serious. If you don't take it serious, I'm not going to take it serious. I'm not going to invest my time into it. Just food for thought, okay? Have a good night, everybody. I will see you Tuesday around, give or take, a few minutes, 9 p.m. Central Time. Oh, and Sunday, 7:30, the Mac, Jack, and Jim Jeffcoat show. It's always animated. Jim Jeffcoat, former Dallas Cowboys. He's a big guy, but I'm not intimidated by him because I'm in Nashville. I don't care. You know, love the guy, nice guy. But I'm not going to be afraid to criticize the Cowboys. And he appreciates that. But it's a good show. It's a good back and forth. Jim, former Dallas Cowboy. Mac is a Hall of Fame boxing writer. Jack is. And Mac is put the whole thing together. He's the man. Linda, their producer there, really good. You can catch me on 3 p.m. replay on Roku TV. Central Time, that'll be 4 p.m. On Wednesdays and Fridays, this show will be replayed. So have a good night, everybody. Just want to get my final announcements in. I will see you otherwise on my show, 9 p.m. Central Time here on SportsSkope on Tuesday night.